Started here with the Ayer Conservation Commission meeting for Thursday, October 10th. Members in attendance. Jenna, member. George Bacon, member. Jessica Gino, member clerk. And myself, Mark Phillips, vice chair, filling in as chair. And obviously, we also have Heather Hampson, our conservation agent. Do we have approval of the agenda?
No, there's no changes.
No changes? Need a motion to approve the agenda so as written?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor say aye.
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 Do you want me to second all of them or just the ones you're abstaining from?
No, I think all of them.
Okay.
You have to do all.
He's busy chairing.
I know, I did. Step on toes.
All right, when does John do the Open Underground Act? Do that now?
You do the minutes,
Okay,
and then you do the public input, and then you do the public hearings.
okay.
Well, he always, otherwise just reads that thing, all public hearings are opened under the,
Weapons.
yeah.
So just formality, so all the public hearings are opened under the Wetlands Protection Act and under the Ayer Wetlands Bylaw.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that, Jess. All right, next item on the agenda is approval of meeting minutes for September 26, 2024. Any comments, questions, edits from anyone?
Nope. No. They're all right.
Okay. Perfect as written. Can I get a motion to approve the meeting minutes from September 26, 2024 as written?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All in favor nay. All
Opposed?
opposed nay. Passes unanimously, Ms. John. Next item on our agenda is our moment for public input. Do we have any public input from folks out in the stands? No. No public input. All right. Next item on the agenda. Moving on to continuation of public hearing, notice of intent, DEP file number 100-0493, 0 Bishop Road and 0 Park Street.
Thank
New England Power Company.
For people to get their names. I usually send it to. Yeah, I'm supposed to be here, but whatever.
Hi, would you mind introducing yourself and spelling your name?
Sure. Brian Wentworth, Bryan. Wentworth, Wentworth.
And?
BSC Group engineer.
Okay.
Lindsay Carl, Lindsey, Carl, CARLE, BSC Group.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you.
Both representing New England Power.
Yes.
So, we did get some response from DEP.
Yes.
And then I believe they had some questions and you provided some responses to them.
Yep.
The rest of the commission like to have them go through the responses, or did we all get a chance to read them?
Well, it's always good to bring them up just so they go into the public record
Okay, all right.
for
Yep.
anybody watching as well.
So Brian or Lindsay, whichever one, if you wouldn't mind,
Sure.
maybe just going down and addressing the points,
Yeah.
questions from DEP.
Sure, we can do that.
Thanks.
We can do that first and then address anything else after. So the first comment was regarding sheet C1, the site plan, or the site prep plan, depicts the limit of clearing and grubbing beyond the proposed erosion control line, limit of work. Applicant should adjust the location of the erosion controls. We did that and revised the plans and resubmitted. So, in reality, they'll be basically the same line. It'll be at the limit of clearing, the erosion control line.
Gotcha, thanks.
Yep. Let's see, the second comment If the replication area will be constructed at the same time as proposed construction activities, the applicant should consider installing erosion controls between the replication area and the areas of substation expansion to protect the integrity of the replication area. We did add that to the plan as well to address that, so the contractor will install that, as necessary during construction to protect the replication area. Address that.
Is the replication area going to be constructed prior to the station construction, or literally at the same time?
I'm not sure the sequence of it. It could be the same time, could be before or after.
We can condition that as part of the order. If
Okay.
you have a preference on how you'd like that done.
Don't we have that in our bylaws? Aren't we supposed to be doing that prior to other construction being done? Or did we decide to waive that? Do you remember?
I don't think it's in the bylaw.
It's not in the
I know we've
bylaw.
talked about
Not a bylaw?
that.
Okay.
There are times where if they did it first and they're doing work beyond it, it would be destroying it while they're doing the work, so
We would typically leave it to the contractor to figure out, when is the best
Sequencing.
time,
Yeah.
to sequence that.
Okay. All right.
All right. Let's see, what was I on? Three? Okay. The proposed work will result in impacts to BVW and BLSF with replication proposed. BVW replication area is the same area where compensatory storage will be provided. As such, the applicant should demonstrate in accordance with the Massachusetts Inland Wetland Replication Guidelines that the wetland replication area will not be negatively impacted by spring flooding. Mass DEP would encourage consideration of replication plantings that can survive inundation for extended periods. Our landscape architect wrote a couple paragraphs that
Yes, they did.
that look pretty good to me. So, but essentially, I think that what he wrote essentially says that the species that are there indicate that it will be a healthy wetland. The wetland that's there is within the floodplain already, and we're recommending similar species. And then he went on to say that the species that are recommended on the planting plan should be able to withstand the inundation.
We're hardy enough, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and
what I
we have a 2-year anyway of survival on those for replanting. So
Okay, yep.
what is facultative woody shrubs?
so there's upland plants and facultative is the wetland plants.
Facultative just means wetland?
Occurring optionally in response to circumstances rather than by nature.
They can go either way.
They can go either way. Yeah.
That's the
So
best
it's
way to say.
you have, so they used to have facultative positive and negative, so like more dry or more wet, and they actually got rid of the
It's
plus
just
and negative,
curious.
and it's just facultative now.
I've seen like fac up and then
Yeah,
fac wet.
Yeah, but they as far as the delineations, they got rid of that.
It's just a big word.
It is a big word.
Civil engineer over here, I didn't know what it meant, so.
I was wondering if maybe it was like a very well-educated shrub that had a doctoral degree. It was faculty.
Tenured.
Yeah.
All right. Comment number 4 here. The applicant should confirm if the removal of sediment from the intermittent stream will result in impacts to bank resource area. If so, a revised WPA Form 3 quantifying impacts should be submitted. I think we addressed that, right, on the...
Yeah. We don't anticipate impacts to bank. They'll have a small excavator going out, cleaning out the stream, the land underwater.
Yeah.
And the bank that's there is like pretty inundated currently and mud, so.
So essentially just cleaning out the sediment that's accumulated and carefully cleaning that out to not impact the bank.
Okay, okay.
The next one, number 5, is regarding proposed underground conduit work that impacts BLSF. Resource area does not qualify as an exempt minor activity. So this one, just to summarize, I won't read the whole thing, but so the floodplain on the effective FEMA map covers part of the roadway. That was what, and it's a zone A without the base flood elevation was not determined on the effective flood map. So what we did as part of the study to address the town's bylaws regarding floodplain impacts and also make sure we're in compliance with the Wetland Protection Act was the hydrologic and hydraulic study to more accurately determine the limits of the floodplain. So and essentially that shows, and that was an attachment to the NOI that was submitted. So essentially what that shows is that the limits of the floodplain are basically within the BVW, a little bit of BLSF next to the BVW in essentially the replication area that we're proposing. The underground conduit work that's in the road and in the substation would be outside of that floodplain limit. So that's essentially what our response says. So we still consider it to be exempt.
Are the feeder getaways, are they going out under where the new driveway is could be placed? Or do you happen to know on the plans?
Do you know that?
What are you referring to by the feeder getaway?
Just underground
conduits.
conduit.
Oh, okay, so the one going up Bishop and then to the right on Park Street?
I think there is one that goes out the new entrance, right?
Oh, I think it
Right,
does
it's
come
Bishop
in.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's in.
Yeah.
I'd have to.
That would not be in the floodplain though. That would be outside.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay. That's where I thought they were exiting, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
yeah.
So that's why I was just asking.
Yep.
So.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And then the only other underground work that's being done is relocating the water line, which is also outside the floodplain there.
Okay.
All right, let me get back to the letter. Comment 6, the applicant should provide TSS removal worksheets as well as calculations for required water quality volume and post-development water quality volume to demonstrate compliance with standard 4. The response that we put in here is essentially saying that we didn't think it was necessary to do that to demonstrate it. In the stormwater report it's under standard 3, we showed that the recharge volume that would be required for 1 inch, which the town's bylaw is that projects should treat either 90% TSS removal or 1 inch of runoff multiplied by the impervious area. That would equate to, the 1 inch runoff over the impervious area would equate to about 1,400 cubic feet. In the stone yard that we're using the rainfall will essentially disappear into, provides about 18,000 cubic feet. So we're way above that. So essentially just the nature of the site, we're not going to generate a pollutant load that has TSS in it, and the water's all going to disappear into the stone. So we just didn't feel like it was necessary. The worksheet is also it's built for commercial and industrial development, so it's not really apples to apples for this kind of site.
Right. Okay.
And I can confirm for the last comment that it is out of the floodplain. I just looked at the map.
Yeah, it is.
You good with that? Mm-hmm. Okay. I think there's at least one more.
Yeah, there's
A couple more.
There's two more, yeah.
Yep. So number 7 was the commission may include the long-term O&M plan as a perpetual condition if approved. And that's fine. The response that I wrote in here was that as a condition of the stormwater permit that was approved at the last planning board meeting, the town they ended up reducing the requirements for the annual inspections that are typical for them to include in the conditions of the stormwater permit. Basically, just because of the nature of the site, again, there are no proposed stormwater BMPs because of the stone yard that's going to basically make everything disappear. So.
And those reports, when they do get submitted, I get a copy of them, the town planner and the DPW will get copies of them.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we'd already have them.
So, and I included that in the response, just so, the commission would have that information.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Should we put that as a condition or not necessary?
We can reference it
Okay.
in the conditions that, when they do get submitted to, when the planning board requests those biannual reports, that we get a copy of them. I mean, it more than likely will already happen anyway, but that way it's in there in case
Sure.
town planners or whatever change.
And what was agreed upon with the planning board was
Per requested.
the first year we would submit an annual
Yep.
report, and then upon request thereafter. So, and or you probably have a copy of the.
I do have a copy of
the
that, yep.
approval, So, okay. All right, and then the comment 8, Mass DEP asked why the proposed expansion of the gravel area is necessary, given that all of the proposed structures will be replaced within the existing limits of the substation. And I think this is a case of, we kind of explained this during the first meeting to the commission, but the expansion will create access along the northern extent of the substation to that equipment for maintenance, and specifically during construction of the project, and then for any proposed outage thereafter, or emergency repairs that they need. This is where they need to get that mobile sub in, and that's the reason why they have that second entrance proposed as well. And they need to back that in along that expanded portion of the substation. So that's really why, what's driving that, the expansion of the gravel yard. And there's really nowhere else to put that mobile sub. So, and DEP's, not privy to that conversation, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, I looked at the plans after seeing that comment and tried to figure it out. I'm like, could you move it like the most closer to the other road? But then I'm like, well, then does it fall into the same thing where you have access so far around because you're to the other driveway? And I'm like, I mean, if it does, it's a matter of maybe a couple feet. I don't think it would be a substantial amount.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I tried looking at it because again, because the plans that, because I was at the planning board meeting, so, and it wasn't labeled, so when you're looking at the module unit, there's 2 structures directly in front of that aren't labeled in the plans as what they are.
Where are you talking about? I may be able to clear it
Yeah,
up.
on the site plan, on the newly revised site plan in front of the building, there's 2 structures on there at the front, faced towards the wetland, towards Park Street, that are not labeled as anything.
I'd have to check. I can't remember exactly what they are, but
And I was like, oh, because if those weren't, so if those are actual structures that are being put in there, because it's not on the plan as saying existing or what they are, if they're new or what
They
they
are
are.
proposed,
I'm
yeah.
assuming they're new something, because if those aren't anything, then obviously you'd have more of a space. But those being an actual structure that would have to be serviced around,
Yeah.
then that's closer to the road.
And
So, yeah, those 2
these right
squares.
here, yeah.
Yeah, those 2
And
things.
I know, apologies for the laptop here, but yeah,
Everything
regardless
else on that plan is labeled except for those 2.
of, yeah,
And they were
regardless
not on the
of,
original plans, they came on the revised plans.
the
They're
layout
on
shouldn't,
the ER map.
the layout shouldn't have changed.
Yeah, well,
so-
that's how, yeah, I need those glasses, that's how it came out. So
Hmm.
that would be the only thing that I saw on there that I questioned on what those 2 structures were, because to me, it seemed like without those 2 there was plenty of room to get around.
Yeah, what are those 2 structures?
I would have to check with the
Okay.
electrical engineer.
Okay.
But, they do a thorough job.
And I said,
of laying
and I double checked them to
Substation.
the plans on the planning board's webpage as far as to the first submission, second submission, and those were only on the second submission.
I'm gonna have to double check that and make sure.
I have the original up with me right now.
So I did check it, because that was the only thing I had that would only flag it to me to say that we couldn't, to limit that, because obviously that workaround is for that building, whereas if
And then
those.
this is the site plan right here?
Yep.
And they're here?
Yeah,
Oh, I saw a submission that didn't have them on there, but maybe I was on a wrong page. But again, they're just not labeled, so I just didn't know what those
Yeah,
were.
so regardless of these.
Because everything else is there.
Regardless of these structures, though, essentially what they need is this access they need to get the mobile sub all the way back here. So that's really what's driving the need for that expansion in this area.
And what's the size?
There's a couple of existing structures here that are not not being relocated as well. So, that are a little bit closer to that area than these.
And there's no other
proposed.
location to put the mobile sub on there?
That's my understanding, correct.
And it's the secondary access road that comes into that there needs to be space for as well.
The size of the mobile substation trailer, can you describe that?
I may be able to find some photos in my email. But it's essentially, it's a relatively wide trailer. It's probably 10 feet wide or so, and it sometimes has it's like a double trailer as well. So it's a pretty massive unit.
Right.
And it sometimes has two trailers that you really need a straight shot to get it in there. That was the reasoning behind the additional driveway there. So,
Right.
yeah. And then you need clearances to the perimeter fence as well when it's installed. So,
Right, you need at least 15 to 20 foot clearance, then it can be conductive on either side of it, all around it.
No, I'm sure.
Yeah. And it's essentially, it's a small tractor trailer.
Yeah.
And as he said, probably two.
and I can tell you that the environmental departments at National Grid are usually, if the electrical engineers propose something that is unnecessary, they usually
Yeah, no,
push
I
back
know,
on
I'm
it,
sure.
too, so,
No, I am sure. I just have to make my plea on it as well and make sure
Yeah.
it's in there that we at least ask the questions, so.
Sure.
Right, I think that was the last one.
That was the last
That was the last
Comments,
comment,
right?
yep.
Anything else from commissioners? Yes?
No, I see we have the resident who was here at our last meeting with questions on the screening here.
Okay, yeah, we can,
Yeah.
we'll get that in 1 second. Jen, any questions? George, are you good? Okay. Heather, is there anything else you wanted to clear up?
The only, the only thing I have is just some questions in regards to when we get to, if we approve this special conditions. That's the only thing I have.
Okay.
And that's in regards to the head wall and culvert being cleaned out.
Okay, yeah,
So that's all I have, so when we get to that point, but other than that, I'm fine.
okay. Sir, sorry, I forgot your name, but if you wanted to just address.
Peter, we've met a few times.
Yes.
Is it okay if I sit here?
Definitely, sure.
Thank you. So, as I mentioned last time, my name is Peter. My last name is Horany, Horanii.
Thank you.
And I live at 75 Park Street. So, first of all, I want to thank all of you. I know that it's very important for the town to have power. I'm not against that. I think it's a fantastic thing. Just to point out what I'm talking about. So this is the construction here, and I live across the street right there. And so without getting into too much into detail, what I would like to request for consideration is to get, well, first of all, I went and I researched what are the potential plants that are native to Massachusetts wetlands and play an important role in stabilizing the soil, filtering water, and providing habitat for wildlife. So this was my goal, and what I would like to request is a row of white cedar, eastern white cedar along the lot so that it would just block it, the view of the project. I think that, that would be, it's a native plant. It's a fairly large plant that I think if it was away from the wires, I think it should be fine. I found a number of other ones, but I think that would be something that, I would like put forth for consideration.
What's the full mature height of a cedar, white cedar?
It says here that it grows up to 50 feet.
Yeah.
It's one of those like, it's a green,
Okay,
evergreen
here we go.
bush is what it is. And so I think it would cover and
Wires.
be local. And I think that on the other side, towards Bishop Road, they're also putting in a set of these, I think those are also similar plants. So that's all I'm asking for, just whatever's along the side of Bishop Road and lastly covers those businesses on the
There's wires
very
here.
important project.
There's wires
I would like to have
here.
that same kind of coverage considered on the
It's in the
Park Street
property line.
side, which is the side
It's
towards
like
the
this.
town.
So it ends up being bank property.
I'm sorry, parallel to Park Street or essentially perpendicular?
Perpendicular on the side of the lot,
Gotcha.
on lot 12, I think
Okay.
is on the plans. And it's between the project and the bank.
Bank,
Yeah.
okay.
Because that's where I get a good view of all of it.
Yeah,
And
see,
in
I
the
didn't-
past,
I
they
just
were
looked
like
on it, the street
really
side.
just brown poles, and they really turned into these big silver poles. And they're sort of like the Star Wars, the legs of those big walkers now, and they're really, like, I'm quite concerned, about what it's doing to my real estate value, as well as the environment.
Sorry, do we know about where the lot line is? Because
It was
there's
marked for the town.
Yeah, so you gotta go to the assessor's map and you can see.
It runs
a little
along
better.
the lines themselves.
right at there's a part of the IC Credit Union parking lot that runs the angled part there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the lot line runs right along there.
Oh, okay. I see what
Um,
you're saying.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
So, like-
extends to
Yeah.
Park Street.
So there might be room.
We looked at it and we had the National
drove by
Grid's
too, yeah.
arborists as well weigh in, and there's already 6 to 8 foot vegetation there that is pretty hardy, and there's also distribution feeder lines in the
Yeah,
area,
yeah.
so
Yeah,
they're not. We did consider it. We talked about it on some project calls. We went out with the planning board to review it, and the planning board members agreed that it just wasn't worth knocking down all of that vegetation
Right.
that's existing there to try to plant these trees that are probably not going to succeed
Yeah.
in that area, according to the arborists.
I went out and looked at it and walked into it. I'm not realizing that what we wanted to do, but again, it is highly vegetated. The only thing I did note, and it's to anything planted in there, you're taking stuff out in order to do that. The only thing that I did note that there was probably a 6 to 8 foot tall buckthorn on the corner of the lot there. That wouldn't be horrible if that got taken out, but in order to take that out, I think the only tree that's on the corner would get damaged at the same time.
Which I think is on the bank's property.
Yeah, it's on the bank's property, so it's saying, I couldn't tell if it was the bank's property or
That one
yours,
is-
and it's
the
right in that
corner is
corner.
right there.
Yeah, so I'm like, but to take that out, to replant, you wouldn't replant it because you have that large oak right there, so like, at that point, like, it's no point in that. I didn't go all the way up to this side of the property, because I was like, I just walked along the Park Street, went in from Bishop Road, walked in towards the head wall to see if there's any way to plant anything up. It's just vegetation, anything tall, and then just lines running. I didn't see anything as far as the banks. I didn't look on that end. I did look down that side, and it is vegetated. I don't know, planting something to put a tree like that in, you would be taking out several feet around it of vegetation for that tree to grow. So you're gonna lose 6 to 7 feet or whatever of shrubbery in order to plant a 3 foot tall tree and wait for that to grow along the line. I don't know how beneficial that would actually be. It's in 10, 15 years it would be, but until that point, I don't know how long you want to wait for those trees to grow to get to that size that the vegetation that's already there is already existing for you, and how negative that would be to the property as a whole. We're already doing a lot of work for this project that in that wetlands and in that floodplain. To do additional, I don't know if it would have a negative impact on that vegetation and that property as a whole. That's what my concern would be.
I have a list of other plans.
It's
But you're still digging up existing vegetation to put in different vegetation, kind of a net zero.
So to me, the deciduous plants lose their leaves and everything in the winter. And I just think that, I don't want to be just a hard ass about it. I mean, I really think that, something could be done. And I'm okay with the no, but it's hard for me to give up and hard for me to take a no. And so excuse me for keep coming back, but I have to live next to it.
Yeah, and I know you're not going to get a 50-foot tree in there because that's just not going to be, from a
happy-
reliability
so I have a list-
perspective, we don't want to create our own forest fires.
Sure,
As they've
sure.
had out west, so.
Sure. Tails,
Oh, this cattail's
Buttonbush.
already out there.
Yep.
and there's speckled alder, it's 25 feet tall, eventually common elderberry, swamp white oak,
Yeah, wait, yeah, this is, yes.
American elm, black willow, red maple. Think how beautiful it would be right now.
No, I understand that, but again, yeah, just the height-wise, you're not going to put that in by a power line. That just
Can't
gets the
blame me for
purpose.
trying.
No, I appreciate that.
Thanks so much.
I'm sorry.
On that, I mean, I think that's, as a commission, I think we can't mandate they do more work in the wetland or resource area. So this seems more of a planning board call.
Yeah, and the planning board
But then
didn't.
if the planning board approved it, then that would require more review by us, because then it is more work in the resource area.
It would be in the buffer zone.
Yeah, it'd be in the buffer zone,
The
yeah.
buffer
But
zone,
still,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you just,
Yeah.
so that's from inside, right in here, looking up
So-
towards the, and so, I mean, I just didn't see.
You said part of it was just, that it used to be like the wooden poles and now it's the silver poles, right? Can they
Those
be
are beyond the substation though, on the other side.
the silver, the
they-
metal?
Yeah, that's in the
The transmission
Yeah,
lines, yeah.
I was like,
that's
can we
what's here.
paint them? Like, is there anything we could do that
That's the
would
next.
make it a little bit better for them?
That's-
I know that's not us. I'm just like, I
But
feel,
no,
I
that's the
feel
next,
for
that's
you.
the next
So,
here is the transmission line. But I don't think they're doing those ones.
yeah,
No, they're done.
sorry.
It's coming
Thank
the
you.
other
Thank you
way.
for consideration. Thank you for putting up with me.
Thank you for coming and
Yeah.
voicing your opinion.
Thanks.
It's great to get the public input, so we do appreciate it.
Yeah, and I tried looking at it, and I wish, I mean, I understand, I wish that there's something I could do, but I gotta look at it on the
Yeah.
existing vegetation and wetland area, and I understand it'd probably be great to have more trees in there, but I'm taking out vegetation on an area that's already gonna get stressed from work being done on it now. I
Thank you
wish
for
there was
the
something, I mean, I
opportunity.
wish I could. but
Thanks so
I just-
much.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
Take care.
Best of luck.
Any other input from folks out there? What other questions do we have? Anything?
Just Heather's.
Yeah, so when that head wall, and culvert get cleaned, because it's been blocked, I don't know if there's actually gonna be flowage
Gush?
coming through there. No, no gush, but like if we see the heavy rain, if we're gonna see, water flowing in there, or in spring, snow melt, if we're gonna see, actual water flowing, or if it's just gonna be like a trickle in a stream or whatever. So I just feel like it is part of the conditions that that area should be monitored, whether it's by me or by someone on site, for a while, just to get an idea of that. This is
During
gonna affect.
construction, you mean?
What?
During
During
construction?
construction, yeah.
Gotcha.
Just to see, I don't know if it's gonna affect anything that's what's going on site. If that gets cleaned out and all of a sudden, after heavy rain, we actually see flowage going through there.
Okay.
If we ever have heavy rain.
Yeah, I'm just,
That was last year, not this year.
I know, I'm just saying, yeah, but like if we had,
Yeah.
maybe we have a nor'easter, God forbid, and then like a spring rain, and then you see that, because it is an overflow from a wetland further up that flows through.
Right.
That if we see, I don't imagine it to, but I don't know how long it's been blocked either.
One thing I'll note that, came up in the planning board conditions is that as part of as a condition to the approvals, the company's gonna work out an easement with the town
Yes.
for access to clean out that culvert
Yeah,
as
on a
well.
basis,
So
yep.
there will be a mechanism for the town to inspect the head wall
Okay.
as well.
I'm just wondering during construction, especially during the replication area and the flood storage, because that if that area does get open, that is running, that the commission gets notified of that, or I just don't know if it's going to affect anything during construction.
Yeah. Did you say, is it totally blocked? It's totally blocked? Nothing coming through?
So I was just wondering once it gets unblocked,
Yeah.
what
yeah,
we're getting
Yeah,
on site. That's just my question.
okay. So what condition are you proposing?
Just that, during construction, that culvert area be monitored, and if there is, heavy flowage coming through that the office be notified, just so we can, just so we can verify that it's not.
Kind of like similar to Air Solar too?
Yeah, I just worry that, I don't think anything's gonna happen, they're gonna be doing construction, they're not gonna want any sort of violation from erosion or anything to happen. I just think it'd be nice to know if that's happening, that we can, too, as the town, I think the DPW would be, if we're gonna be taking over the maintenance of that, to know that that does occur,
Sure.
type of thing.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do it.
Good with that? Good with that?
So that's a condition for the applicant to do an inspection on the
Yeah,
stream.
just so we have, during construction, to keep an eye on that culvert once it's cleaned out, to verify if there's any heavy flow of water coming through that, to notify the commissioner's
Yeah.
office, just so we can get an idea of what's going to happen. We can go out and look at it, do regular inspection anyway, just be outside of that. And then I can also let the DPW know, just,
Yeah.
because if they're gonna be the ones taking over the maintenance of it, they might wanna know what the
Yeah,
flow
and
is
they're-
going through that pipe's gonna look like during certain rains or whatever.
Right, yeah. Yeah, and I would expect it to be kind of reactive to rain events.
Yeah,
so-
I mean, I can't imagine it being anything extravagant, but
Yeah,
who knows? Who knows what we're getting?
Yeah, because based on what, like how you were saying, Lindsay, right, it's basically that the wetland behind those buildings on the other side of Bishop have to fill up that pool to
Yeah.
drain through that drain,
Yeah,
right? over
correct.
there.
So it's
Yeah,
one of those things that might be once every, 500-year rain that you would see that, but
yep,
I don't want that to happen during construction and then
Yeah.
get told by a resident driving by that they see a huge pool in there. Like, it's just easier to be notified during construction if anything heavy's going on there.
Yeah.
Especially with the comment from DEP in regards to the replication area and the flood storage and all, it's just puts that in there, that we're keeping an eye on it during construction.
yep, okay.
So once they clean it out,
Yeah. So whenever that clean out is done, to just keep an eye on it, and if we see a high flow of water going through, to notify the office.
clean out by DWP.
Well, DPW is not doing the clean out until after construction's
Oh,
completed.
okay.
The maintenance of that was clear in the I think the condition, the approval from the planning board that maintenance doesn't get taken over until after the site's complete.
Okay.
yeah, so the applicant's gonna clean out the stream.
Yeah.
And then I think we talked about allowing DPW to come in and clean out the culvert during construction, so, while there's access to that area before the replication area is constructed, so.
Post-construction,
There will be an easement for the town to be able to come in and clean it out.
okay, not over the replication area.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, because the way you just said that.
Yeah, I know, I'm thinking, I'm like, wait, they're gonna have
Right there,
to, I'm like, they're
and-
gonna have to go, we'll have to figure that out.
I've seen it done, I can envision the operation, and you'd use a jetter.
Yeah, no,
to jet it
I'm
out
sure
and
too,
then
but we're just
back
one of
it
those
out.
things, we're like, we're gonna have to
Yeah,
work with that.
but it's just over the line, the property line, so I
Yeah.
think they just need access to that 5 feet of property, to get, to back the truck up and be able to back it out if needed.
I do remember on the site visit, you had wanted some details around the pre and post and kind of a little explanation,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, around the pre and post
The numbers?
flood storage and things like that, something to that
did.
effect? Yeah,
I thought they,
Yeah.
We revised that, yep.
yeah.
Yeah,
okay, they already gave that, okay.
okay.
Yeah, before the DEP comments, we had submitted an amended NOI that
Yep.
corrected the impact numbers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So this,
yeah.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
I just wanted to be clear, special condition applicant to keep an eye on the head wall for heavy flow during construction once the stream is cleaned out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool, thank you.
I think that's
I would
reasonable.
probably do.
Yeah,
We're gonna be doing NIPD's inspections anyway.
there'll be NIPS's inspections anyway that we'll get reports on, and we'll be keeping an eye on the site anyway, but that's one of those things.
So do we want to take a vote on putting the order of conditions together?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay. Do we have a motion to prepare the order of conditions for DEP file number 100-0493, 0 Bishop Road, 0 Park Street, as noted with the special conditions during today's meeting?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Depends if you-
Opposed, nay. I will abstain.
Any other special conditions?
We have standard special conditions. There's just, sometimes there's extra that get thrown in there, but, so they're not anything, it's more or
Just
less,
that one.
yeah,
It's
that's
like
just
the
outside of
added
the
special.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to let them know
Does he sign it if he
Yeah,
abstains?
you can sign.
to expect.
Yeah, the signature actually doesn't mean anything. That does.
So this is a motion to approve the notice of intent and
Issue order of conditions.
issue an order of conditions. Because Heather's already prepared. Do you have to make edits to the special conditions?
I just have to add that note. I didn't do the special conditions yet because I wanted to verify if they were gonna have any extra.
You're adding the head wall observation and also the reference to the O&M plan?
Yeah, the reference to the planning board's, site plan and, stormwater permit.
So it'll just reference the.
It'll reference that,
Okay.
yeah.
That's fine.
Which, like, I believe their site plan references are permits too,
Right, yeah.
because they don't always get carried over from one person to the other.
Yeah.
So the planning board had their own ONS.
Now we have to close it.
Yeah. Just the condition
You ready?
of annual inspection.
Caught up?
All right, can we get a motion then to close the public hearing, DEP file number 100-0493, 0 Bishop Road and 0 Park Street?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay?
But you can vote on that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Right?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Approved unanimously, as John would say.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Have a good night.
I don't want to rush us or anything, but apparently the aurora is like insanely beautiful right now, so I'm getting.
So I'm just trying to get home before 8:30.
Could we have a moment? Well, then stop talking.
I'm sorry. Oh,
Okay, continuing.
All right, next item on the agenda is continued public hearing, notice of intent DEP file number 100-0494, power line right-of-way through multiple locations, New England Power Company.
Are you
multiple locations, which would include most of the
I'm
time.
sorry?
You're abstaining on this one too, right?
I will be.
Why'd you even shut up? Just kidding.
Somebody's got to
Run the
run the
place.
show.
Quickly, quickly.
Yeah, I know. I said I want to get home. I gotta get home.
Welcome.
Hello.
Can you just state your name and,
This is Erin Wariski and Heather Storlazzi Ward. No Natalie Simonton though.
No, not this evening.
so similarly, if you had some questions or comments from the DEP that,
Yeah, they're pretty,
the-
yeah, there were
Just hear some
three
responses.
or so. And they didn't seem substantive, really at all.
And I had heard from DEP about you submitting your water quality certification, so I know they received those. The only thing they asked me is if we were going to be requesting any additional plantings, and I don't see the need to do that.
you want to go through them or for record? or- Any responses or no?
There were no responses, so the two main ones were the additional requirements for 401 water quality certifications.
And that has been submitted.
And that has been submitted, correct, yeah. I heard from DEP that that had been submitted. I would read the comments that I have, but for some strange reason, my email print cut it off.
have them here if you want me to read them. Or not.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So read them.
Yes, because I'm gonna get cut off, so I can't.
The application materials state that a few of the proposed work pads are located partially outside the right-of-way, and the landowner permission will be gathered prior to construction. Landowner signatures are required for a completed NOI application and should be attained prior to the issuance of any OOC, which will regulate work on parcels for which NEP does not have existing ownership or access rights. So there's no work outside the right-of-way. Yeah. It was just a typo error, I guess is the best way to put it. Yeah. But if you, if you reviewed the plans.
I reviewed the
and-
plans, like, oh, I don't see any work outside of
Yeah.
it, so.
I didn't think so.
Because that was
There's
the
no work
question that
outside.
everybody came in asking, and I'm like, no, it's just in the right, because the narrative said within the right of way. The plan
Right.
showed it, so it must have just been when I
Yeah.
submit my orders, I get them commenting back all the time that I need a typo on them.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yes, it happens, so.
Okay. I know there was, one of the comments or such from DEP was about
phasing?
Phasing.
Phasing, yeah.
Yeah.
the phasing of the project, and then also the, so the request of the 5-year order of conditions.
And we
I
talked
made the
about
assumption
this.
that pads were not going to be, matting
That's
was not
right.
going to be
We-
there that long, right?
We touched upon this, that the project up in this stretch is going to be phased in 2 different phases. So first phase going with more critical maintenance that needs to take place, and then phase 2 is kind of the rest of the structure replacement and other aerial maintenance that's required. And so I think, there's just a bit of confusion, any sort of temporary matting costs a lot of money. We're not going to be leaving them there for any longer than we actually need to. So yes, we're asking for the order of conditions to be 5 years to account for that phase 2 when that does actually take place. But the intention is not to leave those mats there while we wait for phase 2 to actually get started.
So, because this is like a 37-mile-long project, you're getting orders of conditions that are 5 years across all the towns.
That's right.
So that when you get to a certain section in our town, whenever that is, you're covered.
That's right. That's right.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
We may not need it, but just in case. Figured it would ask now instead of having to go through the administrative burden when the order's up.
And to remember to go back to whatever towns you
Yes.
needed in. That'd be hard to keep track of.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Have you already secured the other towns' 5 years there yet?
Yes, we have secured everything from Millbury to Sterling at the moment. We got Lancaster, Shirley, and here.
Cool.
Yep.
All right. Cool. Any other questions, George? Jess, are you good?
I'm good.
Jen?
All set?
Heather?
The only question, do you want to have a special condition noting anything in regards to the padding not being left in for a certain amount of time, or are you fine with knowing, obviously they're just going to be doing, but did you want to put a condition in there at all for that?
Folks want that?
To have it not left in over a growing season or anything like that?
I think it's needed, but...
Aaron, can you just repeat, how much does it cost to have them just sitting
I
out there on the
honestly
ground?
don't know the exact cost. I just know it's a very large number.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is, but it just
Yeah.
throwing the question out there to throw that in there as a condition to have them not left in over a growing season, if you would like.
Are you going to put in a condition about just taking care when conditions are wet in terms of dragging out the mats?
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
yes, there will be a condition in regards to, that to try to put the matting in during drier times, yes.
The other commissioners want to see the other one that Heather's proposing?
Yeah.
Okay.
What did we just do?
have
Yeah,
that the mats are not left in there
yeah.
when not being utilized during
Okay.
growing season.
Yeah, over growing season. So basically like
Yeah,
spring to fall. Yeah.
Although I don't know if that's,
But if they're not being utilized, so if they're being utilized and being driven over, then they'd be left in. But if they were sitting there vacant for,
who's gonna know? How are you gonna figure that out?
I know, you're right, I don't know. I mean,
Because they may be driving 3 miles down
I know.
right
This is the thing, this is just a question.
Right.
Yeah, the schedule right now for this stretch, at least for phase 1, is approximately a year worth of construction, but that's end to end.
End to end, yeah.
And we have crossroads. So it's not like you're gonna be trying to,
Yeah, no,
Get from Park Street
so like
all the way
when
over to
you were
Sandy.
doing it before Air Solar, right? So they brought the equipment in almost every day, like through the matting and then back out. They didn't leave the excavator sitting on the matting in the middle of the wetland overnight.
oh yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So like if they weren't utilizing it, someone would see it being moved from the staging area back over again on a, at least a weekly basis. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So you would see it.
Okay.
Because the staging areas are off main roads.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? So you do see it.
You do,
You do, yeah.
for sure. I agree.
I don't think it hurts to have that in there. It's just like don't leave them in for 2 years.
Yeah, type of
And
thing. Don't leave them.
assume that New England Power won't leave it in, but
Yeah,
because of the
we're
cost.
assuming you're not, but we don't,
Yeah,
we're keeping the vegetation in the.
cool, yeah. And if, the project suddenly died because there's no power left in the world, we could complain about, leaving the mats behind.
But they might be a good resource for us to scavenge in that
That's
case.
true.
So I think it's fine.
So we can
It's
build
like
a
John says, I
fort
go
in the
dark
middle.
fast.
Trust me. You'll be paying for a ton of solar panels, trust me. Maura will make sure that happens. We all good? Any other comments? Questions?
Yeah. Good.
Did you already write these up already? Oh, okay. So can we get a motion to
The special conditions for shape.
approve the order of conditions for DEP file number 100-0494, excuse me, power line right away through multiple locations, New England Power Company, as written with the 2 additional conditions brought up during the meeting,
In a 5-year period.
Yeah, it's for a
for a 5-year period.
Yeah.
So moved.
Timeframe.
Yeah,
Second.
I put the.
All in favor,
date
say
on there.
aye.
I did the other ones, like, oh, wait, it's not 5 years anymore.
Opposed, nay.
It's 3 years.
And I will abstain.
Okay.
Oh, before you close the hearing, the Natural Heritage did weigh in on it, and they're fine.
Okay.
Perfect.
Because we've already signed it.
Yeah.
So.
Oh,
Just
and
point it out.
we owe you a fee?
Yes.
Yes, we'll send that off to you
Yeah, that's fine.
ASAP.
Okay.
Okay.
Natural Heritage
Yeah.
did approve?
That-
Natural Heritage did approve, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
did not.
No adverse.
No adversely affect.
We like that.
Shut it down.
Doesn't always happen that way.
No, it doesn't always happen
doesn't.
that way. Yeah, because sometimes you think, oh, we're gonna do
Yeah.
this in certain areas, you need
Time of
reputation
year,
areas, do your,
right.
do
Make
your,
a motion to close the public hearing for DEP file number 100-0494, power line right away through multiple locations, New England Power, for a period of 5 years.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, nay.
And you can vote on this one.
Well, that's right, aye.
Yeah.
Pick that up there.
Yeah.
I've seen turtle nesting in the power lines, but it's probably just a snapping turtle or something, but I have seen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay.
It's a common.
Chatty.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know, I gotta get.
You're the one who wanted to leave it
My
in.
understanding is that,
Sunny, it's.
yeah, their comments are only related, are limited to the Wetlands Protection Act. So we're working with them in Upland, and so
Yep.
yes, you're definitely right. You
And
probably seen
rare,
them.
rare wildlife specifically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you,
That's been
folks.
good.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Go check out that aurora.
Yeah, it's like peak right now. Please go see it. Yeah.
So I gotta go.
That's why I'm sitting here like, okay, looks like I want to go.
I should have known. I would have talked faster.
I gotta go home and get a kid to bed.
Last item on the agenda is discussion 71 Sandy Pond Road working road.
Yeah, working group.
wanted to
So
do it,
the,
didn't
sorry, I wrote road second time. It's the, property the town had bought, it was mentioned at the last meetings,
Yeah.
that this town's creating a working group, so they're
Yeah.
allowing us to have a member on there, so
But you're getting on there,
I'm on there, but
right? And then they still wanted one of us.
Well, we want one of us
Yes.
on there. They agreed.
so
Allowed.
now is your time to pick somebody and vote for that, and I can let Robert know.
Well, maybe
I
this is
thought you
what
wanted to actually do it though, right?
the
I
term
wouldn't mind
coup was
doing
all
it,
about.
but I don't want to hog everything, so if anybody else really wants to do it, I'm happy to.
I would do it if no one else wanted to do it.
Me too.
Don't you think John would want to do it?
Well, I texted
He's
him.
not here, and it's a shame that he's
No,
not
I
here.
mean, I texted him and he said, talk tomorrow, which is totally unhelpful.
Yeah.
But I said, did you want to do it? So why don't, we could vote. If he wanted to do it,
Vote?
well, we don't have to vote, do we?
So you or John
I
will
mean,
do it.
the planning board, when they did theirs, they nominated and voted to have someone be the representative, so you kind of do.
How about, could
We
we
don't have to
vote?
do everything they do.
But I mean, you kind of do.
Well, could we vote? Because I have an interest in it, if you
Yeah.
really don't want. So could we
You can
vote that
pick
I would?
two.
And that's why I thought John, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah, either you or John will be.
So why don't, if we have to have a vote, why don't we vote me unless the chair who's absent decides to do it? Can we vote that?
Okay, yeah, that's fine, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so can we
Yeah.
get a motion to vote
Oh, either of the two of us. How
Yeah.
about that?
either Jessica
Yeah.
Gino or
Or
John
John, yeah.
Schmallenberger as the Conservation Commission representative for the 71 Sandy Pond Road Working Group?
Yeah, whichever, I don't know what they're gonna call
Second.
it, but yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay? Approved unanimously.
Really? You don't have any updates tonight?
I
Heather?
do, I'm gonna do them real quick, because I said, I gotta get my
We
my
have update.
update. So,
Not
three quick things. The house on Wright Road and Sandy Pond, that had the trees come down.
Yeah.
I spoke to the owner's
Snake Hill.
son. Yeah,
Yeah.
Snake Hill. The large pine trees were hanging over the house, causing quite a bit of, not damage yet to the roof, but lots of pine needles, like a foot or so deep, actually, when they started scraping them off. So they were afraid that the insurance company wanted the pine trees taken down to that cause damage to the roof. They did have them fall down. Stumps are remaining now. They are going to grind them. The trees are staying. They're going to actually be turned into pine planks. So they're just waiting for that person to come with their mill to do that. And they will be replanting shrubs at some point to do that. I did scold him that he was supposed to tell me they were taking them down. But that is what's happening on that site at the moment. So they were basically flagged by the insurance company to come down because of the causing possible damage to the roof.
Okay.
I mean, because basically if somebody comes in and says hazard, we're like, okay.
Yeah, no, exactly, that's exactly what it was. So I was like, okay, you just tell me. I'm like, I told you to tell me. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. It's that person, it's fine. So that's that. Newton Street went well. Thank you to Jess and Jen for filling in for me. It was fun.
Good job.
It was a good time. We gave away all of our seeds.
Here, take two.
Yeah.
Hey, you know,
Towards the end,
people-
it was just getting rid of it, but.
People liked them, so it was
Yeah.
good. I appreciate that. And MAC conference is next Saturday. That's it.
I can't go.
Yeah, that's fine. I will be there.
Jen, anything?
There's Aurora Borealis happening right now, so that's all I have.
Come back to you. George. Jess.
Well, I had a long thing, but I'll just go with move to adjourn. For the Aurora.
I've never seen them. I'm very excited.
Actually, George should.
Motion to adjourn.
Yes.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay?
I
Passes
will cut
unanimously.
you.